Yo, 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 welcome back everybody to NSA Bulls Podcast with your boy SB and your boy Nick. We're here for another episode. We actually just witnessed the Bulls win against the Portland Trailblazers, so it's a good night. Nick, how you feeling and how you feel about that win?
I'm happy about the win. I'm feeling good, man. It's been a long week, very, very crazy week in terms of just everything in its totality, but from a sports standpoint, from a Bulls standpoint, I'm happy that we got a win rebounding off that very embarrassing Philadelphia loss in Chicago.
Yeah, blowout. That was a blowout win for them.
Wasn't expecting all of that. I mean, I expected us to put forth a valiant effort. Yeah. It did not happen.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons for that, but ultimately I'm happy that the Chicago Bulls was able to go to Portland, even though Portland is not necessarily the best team right now. Damian Lillard did not play.
Right.
But, 9 games left in the regular season. I mean, 10 going into this matchup.
Wow.
So we're in the latter stages of the regular season, and we're currently in the 10th seed, and we need every win we can get right now, But we are about, I think, 2 games actually, correct myself, 2 games away from the 8th seed.
Okay.
Right. Okay. If the playoffs started today, obviously because of the new rule of the play-in tournament, within the last couple of years, the Bulls will be in that play-in. So they're in the 10th seed right now, fighting to get that 8th seed.
Right.
But Atlanta Hawks hold that right now.
So the thing is, how serious is it for the Bulls to continue moving up? Because the fact that they have a chance of being in the playoff picture without being in the play-in is slim to none. So is there any importance of moving from 10 to 9 to 8? Do you see any importance in that? Or is it like that below 6 to 10 all just like the same?
Well, that's an excellent question you present. I think it's important because this team has struggled with identity all season. They've also struggled with consistency all season. Going into the postseason, whether they make it or not, is good. I mean, if they make it, that's even more of a reason why they should do what I'm about to implement, what I think. But they need to win every game possible, even though they are in a play-in situation right now. If the playoffs started right now, they need to win every game because rhythm matters, right? Rhythm and getting in that habit, which they've been incapable of doing all season. Is important, for their confidence, for their identity, and going into who they might possibly match up with in the first round.
Right.
Whoever they match up with, it'll be either the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round, which would be a rematch of last year's postseason, or it will be the Boston Celtics.
Okay, and I'd rather see Boston.
Right, from a matchup standpoint, we really mesh well with them as far as offense, and in terms of the Achilles heel of Chicago Bulls, just noticing that paint presence is an Achilles heel for them.
Yeah, so we don't want to see Giannis.
Exactly. We don't want to see
Giannis.
Or
Lopez.
Exactly. Or Joel Embiid in Philadelphia.
Right.
Even though we came out with a very, very impressive win.
That was a very impressive win, that game, the first game they played Philadelphia.
Exactly.
Definitely.
But the problem with the Bulls is, well, it's not one problem, it's multiple. Like, the problem with them, problems I should say, is that they don't know. Well, the coach to me is an Achilles heel because Billy Donovan doesn't know how to get to his players where he can get them ready and prepared for their next matchup accordingly, right? They should have went into the Philly game at home in United Center and said, listen, we just beat them at home. They're going to be pissed off playing us next matchup, right? We need to come out guns blazing.
Yep.
Every game is a game 7. The problem with the Bulls is that even now with just 9 games, including this Portland game they just played, 9 games left in the regular season, they still have we can turn it on when we want energy. And that's coaching. The coach should have nipped this in the bud 30 games ago. Yeah, 25 at the least.
Really.
Where it's like, all right, we need to really drill in to who we are right now. I know you guys weren't fully healthy and Javonte Green just came back, but ultimately we need to like really get the pace going. And we have been playing good basketball
as of recently.
But there have been a few games where we could have probably made our case for the AFC by now.
Yeah.
But we, from a dramatic standpoint, I feel like we've pushed it out further, and now we're in a situation where even more than ever before, every game is a must-win. We have to win the game, and the Philly rematch, the fact that we lost, but not only that
without Harden,
without Harden, and Embiid didn't even play most of the game. Yeah. Once they felt like the game was out of reach, he was out of the game for pretty much all of the second half.
Yeah,
and the Bulls just came out flat. They came out super flat, and that's been how they've been playing all season. They get up for the matchup, and the same matchups they don't get up for, then they lose to teams they shouldn't lose to. It's just really, really hard to decipher from a fan standpoint, from a betting standpoint. Who are the Bulls? Like, are they a team that's going to take care of business against the lesser competitors? Are they a team that's going to beat the topper guys where they get up for those matchups? And typically that's the answer, right? But then they turn around on a Philly double overtime win to Philly, and they come out to Chicago and they play the way they played.
Right.
And it's just really hard to decipher what kind of energy you're going to get from them.
Right.
But I actually,
hit or miss.
Yeah, it's really hit or miss, man. It's really, really, this is one of the rare seasons where it's really hard to decipher this long into the season. What kind of team are you?
Right.
And you're still wondering that going into the postseason with 9 games left.
Right. So, I mean, that's very, very frustrating. I'm just thinking, I had a question when you were talking. So you feel like the Bulls are like just very passive when it comes to these games. They don't really get up for every game, only certain games. Now, you feel like that's mostly coaching? So they're not pushing, the coach is not pushing them to get up for every game? That's
I feel like the coach is doing the best that they can, but certain coaches, just like certain managers, present the right energy that's necessary for the right results. Right. And that can go for all walks of occupation. So in this context, he could be a good coach, just not a good coach for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is that this type of team needs somebody like a Thibodeau, somebody who is extremely militant, that is like, listen, you need to get it together now. Not when you feel like it. Not when you feel like, oh, we can win this game being this way. No. I want you to win this way. And the thing is that the problem with that is it's cost us probably like 10 or 15 games this season. Because I've seen us lose a lot of games we should have won. I mean, we've all seen that, right? And the problem with that is that I feel in today's player-driven league, it creates more comfort for the players, which I'm okay with, but it's all about how you handle it, right? I feel like for the players, it creates this level of, well, I can get to things when I want to get to things, right? Zach LaVine, I feel like he's playing out of his mind right now. I'm very happy that he's playing ball, right?
Yeah, now he is.
So connecting the dot to what I'm trying to say, he should have been doing this at the very beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Now, he was going through some knee lingering injuries and stuff like that, right? Or, some type of pain or whatever the case may be. But I judge it by, you got the jersey on, you ready to play.
Right.
Ready to play some basketball, right? If you aren't ready to play basketball, you aren't suiting up. So that tough love vernacular, that tough love energy that we need, that he probably would have benefited from, it wasn't there because Billy doesn't know how to present that. So Billy lacks in that tough love category where making players uncomfortable, but a healthy uncomfortable.
Do you think Billy Donovan can get the most out of these Bulls without taking those type of approaches, tough love approach? Do you think he can still maximize the talent of his team without doing that?
I think he's shown he can't.
He can't.
I don't think he can.
Yeah.
I don't think he can. I think we have enough talent, not enough talent to be a championship while we're going to the finals. But I feel like we have enough talent to give teams that are going to the finals a hard time.
Yeah, run for the money.
But the problem, though, is that there are games that you got to win in between that.
Yep.
Not every night you're going to face a championship contender.
Yep, you got to beat the Orlando Magic, the Detroit Pistons. You can't play with those teams.
Exactly. And that's why we're in this position right now.
Yeah. So just a ballpark guess. How many games you feel like we really dropped the ball on this year?
17, 18 games.
That sounds pretty specific.
Yeah, about 17, 18 games. I mean, we've blown a lot of leads. We've had several game winners put on us, even early in the season. We've missed free throws to, I remember it was one game in particular where Donovan Mitchell went for 71 points.
Yeah.
Right.
And we missed.
That game, we was up by almost 20 points, if not more than that. And then we squandered the lead. And that's what I'm talking about. A good coach for this type of ball club is somebody that even holds people of our top talent accountable.
No matter what.
Exactly. So the problem is that there's been moments where even DeRozan shot terrible shots. Terrible shots. But the coach isn't telling him that. Like, dude, what the hell was that? That was a bad shot.
Yeah.
And you got to put something in their membrane where it's like, yeah, that wasn't a good shot. Too many times that's happened. Too many times where they look like a different team from night in, night out.
Yeah.
And they're not a well-oiled. Like, every team has an identity where, listen, this is what I'm trying to run. This is what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm trying to run, but you can't stop it.
Now, what do you think the Bulls' identity should be?
Their identity, good question. Their identity can change in a situation based on who they playing. In terms of like how much more weight you're giving a certain player. But I believe, even though he's not our best player, I believe we should be more inside out.
Yeah, Vooch.
I feel like we should run through Vooch, even though I don't agree. And then Vooch deserves criticism too, because when he's not getting the ball, I feel like his energy lacks. Right,
kind of out to play.
And he's out to play. He doesn't feel involved, and I also feel like he needs to be told too. No, put a cap on the amount of threes you shoot.
Yep.
Like, because most of the time he goes to the post, we are successful.
Yep.
He's successful.
Yep.
His efficiency level is great. And
that creates more shots.
Exactly.
Starting in, going out, and vice versa, going back in. It's like a switch off.
Exactly. And this is where having a better coach is going to present that, because there's probably good coaches out there that can see where we lacking at, just like how I can see, but even they can even psychoanalyze it better than I can. And the issue is that we have games where we go through Vooch and we are successful and we win the game. The next night, we're trying to implement something different, and we end up putting ourselves in a battle where we're trying to barely win a game that we could have won and a lot easier.
Yep. Or even the same game, they might be going inside first half, second half, they might get away from that. Start shooting a lot of shots. DeRozan getting in his little mode,
his ISO mode.
Yeah, and then just jag the game away.
Exactly. And that's the thing. A great coach can pull a guy like DeRozan to the side and say, what the hell are you doing?
No matter what talent you are. And to be honest, DeRozan needs to be coachable. It's not like this guy's a champion.
Exactly. You're right. He's not. And that needs to be said 2 times.
Yeah.
He's not a champion.
Yeah.
We need his talent.
Yep.
He's a very talented,
he's a fantastic player. Last year he was a breath of fresh air, but at the end of the day he's not a champion. So he has room to grow and to learn from his coach and the people around him.
Yeah.
And just pay attention. Know your personnel. Pay attention to what's really going on.
Exactly. You're absolutely right.
I feel like DeRozan, when he came to Chicago, he felt like it was him against the world because the Lakers didn't want to pick him up. So now he's just trying to be gun blazing, and it was successful last year, but this year it's just like it's not as successful.
Exactly. And They waited too late too. It's a combination of a couple things, right? I feel like Zach took too long to try to become the player that his salary shows he should be. Even though he has some, lingering injuries, the point is you're on the court. If he wasn't on the court, I wouldn't say that.
Right.
But once you're on the court, you are given the impression that you are able to go.
He should be expected to play.
Exactly. That comes with territory, right?
Yeah.
So it's a mix of that, but then it's also the mix of the coach not implementing enough opportunities for him. Because not too recently did I see where Zach is like leading offenses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we used to DeRozan walking the ball the court, and he's on the corner just waiting for the basketball.
Right.
And he'll get his moments, and he'll get most of his buckets in, first, second half, and a sprinkle of the third. But then it's like very little buckets in the fourth quarter, maybe a couple early in the 10th, 9th, 8th minute of the fourth quarter. But when it started getting to that third, second, first minute, last minutes of the fourth quarter, DeRozan is in ISO mode and
hurting the team.
Exactly, he's hurting the team, but also the coach is hurting the team because they won't hold DeRozan accountable,
Right.
And say, DeRozan, stop doing that.
Or Vooch from shooting a lot of threes.
Exactly. So it's like everybody has some participle of a blame, but I give most of the lion's share blame to the coach, because a good coach for this type of ball club would have psychoanalyzed all of that and nipped that in the bud 40 games to the season.
And then even Mo Cheeks with
35
offensive coaching. I mean, coaching all around the board. Head coach, offensive coach, defensive coach. They all got, room to blame them a little.
Exactly. And Mo Cheeks, we talking about a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
We're talking about a guy that's
he should know.
Top 75 player of all time.
He should know better.
He know better, and it's not from Chicago. He is from Chicago. But overall, it's just kind of like he knows what he's looking at. And they know what they're looking at. But are you telling that said player?
Right.
And there are moments where DeRozan's ISO is warranted. We need that.
Yeah.
But it's like, by default, they will just go right into that without even trying to attempt certain things.
Sometimes it's forced.
And there's certain instances where it's like, now I'm moving the ball around and then just walk right here, just try to get his shot off, right?
Yep.
And it's like, it works, but then a lot of times it won't work.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, those times it didn't work cost us games.
Yeah.
And that's how it's been.
It feels like either it's a miracle or a mistake.
Yeah.
But, all right, so realistically, where do you see this team going in the second half of the season, the playoff run? What do you expect from them realistically? And then also, what do you expect from the Bulls realistically going into next year and starting the season next year?
Good question. First of all, to answer the first part of your question, I would like to see them get into the first round like a lot of Bulls fans would, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a work to do to get and cement that, right? Yep. Going into the offseason, whatever that comes about, I would like to see them re-sign Patrick Beverley.
Okay.
Because the type of grit he has, we need that all season long.
Yep.
Clearly, we lack in grit. We lack in focus. We lack in all the things that he's a high attribute of.
Yep.
Right. And leading into him acquiring him, he's not the most talented player.
Oh.
But he has the intangibles that we need to win basketball
games. He can make
games.
big differences.
Exactly. And every elite team in history of basketball has had a guy like him.
And I feel like for this Chicago team, we could definitely benefit from having maybe one more guy like that.
Yes. I agree 100%.
Yeah. So what is your gut telling you right now for this postseason coming up though? Do you have some hope for the Bulls? You have some doubts? Like, how are you generally feeling about going into the postseason about the Bulls? Not what you want to see, but how do you feel?
How I feel? Good question. I feel like we just gotta see if we can even make the postseason. First of all, I feel like we can make the postseason.
I feel like we can too.
I feel like we can, but I also feel like we have our work cut out for us in the first round because of the hole we put ourselves in. We're supposed to be a 4th seeded team, but we will see a top seeded team like this in the second round. That will be a success because coming from last year's season, if you come back this season and you make the playoffs as well. That's consistent, but then you also make it to the second round. That's a season of success because that's not where we were last year.
Right.
So, I mean, every business operation has a report. They call it different names, but it's a report where they compare last year to this year. And if our last year was first round exit and then we got into the second round this year, that would be a success, right? Yep. But the problem with the Bulls is they wasted too much time throughout the regular season trying to figure it out, right? When there were so many winnable games. And I also feel like they also didn't have a guy like Patrick Beverley on their team that would make people uncomfortable and hold people accountable. And that's the problem. These are the things that we talk about that's not on the stat sheet. Right? These are things that every good, great, or legendary team all had. They all had a guy or guys, plural, that had that ability to hold people accountable and just say ugly truths, man. Like, listen, bro, what you doing out there is bullshit. Like, there's always that couple of players that would tell you that. And we always doubted that this whole regular season where who's going to say that? Zach ain't going to say it.
The coach ain't going to say it.
The coach ain't going to say it, which is sad. And then DeRozan ain't going to say it because DeRozan is too cool. And then the problem is the era we in. So we in this era where everybody think they a brand. They all think that they're more than what the game is presented, right? Most of these cats are going to be forgotten about when basketball is over for them. And they don't want to admit that.
They probably don't even recognize it.
They don't even recognize it. Like, a lot of y'all cats don't have personality that's going to cross over to something of relevance. Right. But the reality is like, you think that they all looking at this as more than just a business. They're thinking that it's like a way to be more than what they are. And I'm okay with that if you got the right personality and deliver. But it's like, if you're not that person, you should know by now. And you should be like, listen, I'm a basketball player, and that's what I am. I'm not a social media person. I'm on social media, but I'm not that kind of guy.
It's crazy because I can get deep with this really quickly, that society influence everything. We live in a society now where people are more into themselves, selfish, so that translates into everything across the board. And we're sitting here talking about the NBA and the Chicago Bulls, and it just seems like these guys are just so into themselves, like DeRozan or Zach LaVine, that they don't even look at the bigger picture outside of them, just themselves.
Exactly. And then because they don't do that, because naturally we expect the most talented players to have that scope. And when they don't have that scope, it causes imbalance with your team. Your team is like, okay. And because most of the time the talented players are the most highest paid. They're going to get the basketball more. They're going to get the showmanship. They're going to get the cameras. They're going to get the, they're going to get more of everything, right? And what we've seen from today's athletes is that, especially in the context of what we're talking about, where they cut corners, they want all the things that the athletes and the predecessors had, but they don't want to do all the other things that come with that. Right. And my issue when I'll give an example what I mean by this, right? There's so many plays I could point out to if I had, content that will say, look, see that play, see that play, see that play. But there's so many instances where throughout the regular season where a guy like DeRozan, for example, offensively gifted player, right? But he would just savor his energy for the offense only, and costing his team possessions, right? Cost his team stops. I saw a possession prior to him getting a quad injury, right? Which I think is also not that legit. I feel like he had an injury. I also feel like he's frustrated.
He might just want some time off like these NBA players and whatnot.
Now he's an Iron Man. I give him respect for that because most of the time he's playing. He's not like today's era where they just like find a way to not play like the Ben Simmons and the Zions of the world. He's playing, right? So I give him that credit. The problem with DeRozan, which is always the problem with DeRozan, is that he doesn't know how to have a second gear. He doesn't know how to win a different way. He wants to win the same way every single night. And he's a veteran long enough to realize, listen, some nights I ain't gonna have it going on offensively.
Yeah.
Some nights I'm not gonna be able to get to the foul line.
What
Some
else can I
nights the
bring to the
referee,
table?
exactly. Some nights the referee is not gonna give me the call.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. He reminds me a lot like James Harden, just the right-hander version of him.
The mindset.
Exactly. The mindset is, if I can't win the way I want to win, then I'm just gonna give up.
Right. Or I'm just not even gonna try as hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Harden did that low key, even though we benefit off of it. He did it in the Bulls game in Philly.
Yeah. It seemed like it's kind of easy.
Up.
It's kind of like easy to get Harden out the game.
Exactly.
You know.
And for those who are upper echelon teams or players, I felt like without them saying it, they feel the same way about DeRozan.
Yeah. I don't think many teams are fear DeMar DeRozan.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
And I don't think they feel Harden either. Yeah. That's why I feel like they own the same platform. It's just Harden got a better resume.
To be honest.
But overall, I feel like they damn near the same. Maybe because they both have this energy with them where it's like, I can't win the way I want to win. The team isn't allowing me to. So this is uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like when they are uncomfortable, they don't know how to adjust. Yep. And great players always know how to do that.
You have to.
Adjust.
You have to.
The game is presenting you something different.
That's
find
life.
Find a way to be impactful. That's still.
Life.
And they don't know how to do it. Or it's like a mix of they don't know how to do it or they don't care enough because they getting paid.
You brought up a good point. Well, we brought up a good point when we both said teams probably don't fear DeMar DeRozan. I feel like teams probably fear Zach LaVine more than DeMar DeRozan. What do you think about that?
Well, that's a good point you bring up. I feel like Zach lacks IQ in certain instances.
But he can catch on fire.
Exactly. He can catch on fire very, very crazy.
Very quickly.
And that's the thing wrong with both of our players, right? They both have the offensive gifts. But one of y'all got to be able to be an intangible player. Meaning that wherever this game goes, I'm going to find a way to make my impact. Whether I'm on offensively or not.
It shouldn't matter.
Exactly.
It shouldn't matter.
One of y'all got to take that role.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great when they both on because that means you damn near about to win this game because they both on like this. I mean, we just had a game recently, like in the last week or so, where, you know, DeRozan goes for 49, Zach LaVine goes for 39. Right? They both went for large numbers and we won the game. Right? But the problem, though, is that there's a lot of possessions in between where they don't give the necessary effort, and that goes back to the coaching part. A coach that is not afraid of them or not afraid of their ego or is more hands-on would have told them that.
It's like
30 games in. It's like, hey, man, you got to stop this shit now.
It's like Billy Donovan's taking the safe route.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like coasting. He's doing just enough just to keep his job, even though it's arguable that he shouldn't even be continuing this role, but he doesn't go the extra mile and push those players. It doesn't seem like it.
No, he doesn't, and I actually agree with you 100%. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it because it's not it's not it. Yeah. Like he gives a lot of minutes to, you know, our developing players or our players who have been there prior to him getting there, like Kobe Wyatt and Io, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There are games where you like, okay, you overexerted Io and you're not giving Io that, right? It's weird, man. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I got all the answers as a coach because I don't know what it's like to be in his position. All I know is as a fan, there's things that he lacks. And he lacks to make players uncomfortable and tell them the truth. Tell them the truth, bro. And I don't know if the management with the Bulls, because you always got to question the management with the Bulls. I don't know if they allow him to do that, or because that was the issue with the Tom Thibodeau effect, where Tom Thibodeau is old school, where he wants to coach his own team. Yep. He don't want manager getting involved in him coaching the team. Yeah. And that was a riff, and he ended up leaving because of that. Yeah. But
at least he's putting that effort in.
Exactly. But you knew that he was going to make all 12 guys be ready to play basketball.
No matter what.
That was a fact.
Every game.
Be ready to play. And the issue is with our team is offensively, they always want to deliver on that side of the basketball. And then they just be like lackadaisy on the defensive side. I saw a play against the Philadelphia 76ers, where we had after we beat them in Philly, and then we come back to Chicago, where Maxey is coming right down the middle. He had just beat Javonte Green off the dribble, right? DeRozan is the help. DeRozan didn't even come over. He just watching him. He just watching him for a layup, bro. And I was thoroughly pissed because it's stuff like that. Teams pick up on that. Real basketball players can notice like who the weak link is, and they're gonna keep exposing that. They're gonna keep going after that,
especially playoff time.
And it's smart.
Yeah. And
it makes me upset because where is your grit? You've been in the league long enough.
Yeah.
And you keep trying to play the same role where I'm the scorer. I don't want to play that role.
Right.
And there's moments where he know how to play defense, but he don't implement it as much as he should. Right. He don't. No. He's trying to preserve his energy, or he's trying to do something else, right?
Yeah, and we talked about this because these guys claim the Kobe mentality and Mamba mentality, but it's like, where is it?
Exactly. I mean,
Kobe Bryant was playing defense. He was like an all defensive player type of player.
Yeah.
Where is that at?
Yeah. Yeah.
They just want the all. It's like playing basketball when you're like junior high. Everybody cares about shooting threes or behind the back, but nobody wants to play some damn defense.
Exactly. And it's like, where's the pride?
Yeah.
It took Patrick Beverley coming around for things to change, but it's like you guys are the leaders. I understand that guys like him are always going to bring a different dynamic to the team. But that doesn't excuse you from the type of effort you've been providing, on that side of the basketball. Yeah. You getting 35, but you giving up 30.
It basically cancels it out.
Exactly. You putting us in a position where you don't play defense. Yeah. And I saw a quote from Zach recently saying, like, I'm one of the best defenders in the league. I guess he felt like he was hearing in the rumblings that he's not a good defender. And he took offense to it. But it's like, yeah, that's cool. I want you to take offense to it. I want you to take offense and prove it to people. Right. I want you to prove what you're saying. Right. All these quotes where Instagram captures it, Facebook captures it.
That's nothing.
We don't give a shit about all that.
No talk, more action.
Exactly. We are in a produced culture. We are in a show and prove culture.
Show me.
You can say all you want about what you are. How about you prove it?
You can say all you want and we're going to still say cap.
Exactly.
So you're going to have to do it.
Exactly. Have to
do it.
Exactly. People saying cap on that contract. Yeah. But he has been playing better since then.
Much better. Much better.
And it's like, sometimes I feel like with Zach, he's more motivated now because he didn't make the All-Star team. And I feel like he's one of those guys. He got to be isolated. He got to be like in a situation where he didn't earn what he thought he was going to earn for him to actually realize I'm underperforming.
You should not have to be humbled to play good.
Yeah.
In anything, or just to be good at whatever you're doing. You shouldn't have to be humble to really produce.
Exactly. It's just self-awareness.
Yeah.
And the problem is with him is he lacks that.
Yeah.
And, and that's the thing I'm talking about. You have to have guys on your team, players on your team, that hold you accountable so your self-awareness is intact. Yeah, you good. You know we good. We know you're amazing. But you've been playing like shit.
Are you going to do it every night?
Exactly. Yeah. You have to have guys that'll challenge you like that. It's necessary for your development.
Yep.
I mean, in some context, every great player, if that's what he want to be, historically, not just for a couple of seasons, that's what he want to be. Every great player that's played this position has had that. When you go take Jordan off the context, I mean, Jordan's another stratosphere, but the Reggie Millers of the world, right? Reggie Miller had a player on his team with Mark Jackson that would be like, you just gonna let them talk to you like that? Gonna let them look at you like that? Like they're saying this dude is gonna lock you up. Like it's like
take that.
In certain ways you gotta like rile your team up, right? Rile that player up.
Yeah.
And or that player gotta have that level of motivation with him already. But our coach wasn't tapping into that either, I don't believe. I mean, I'm not a bird or a fly on the wall in those locker rooms, but I feel like the energy that Billy presents is not mirroring what is necessary to get the best out of his team.
Yeah.
So, in other words, I don't feel like he's the right coach for the job for this particular ball club.
And it would be a big mistake if Patrick Beverley is not back with the Bulls next year.
Exactly.
For so many reasons that we just discussed. We need another voice out there. It seemed like our players are really filling into themselves. Like we have Patrick Williams playing much better as of lately. We got Zach LaVine playing much better as of lately. Maybe it's because he did not make the All-Star team, but it also probably has to do with the motivation that he has on his team with Patrick Beverley. So hopefully those guys do the right thing, get him back with the Bulls, and we can kind of keep that momentum for the rest of this season, but also into next season. So fingers crossed, man. I mean, Bulls fans, I know it's been a rocky season, and we're really going to find out about our team in the next couple of weeks. So just hold on tight, man. And Chicago Bulls, we're going to be really, really rooting for you. Just go out there and play every game as hard as you can, man. Please.
Yeah, please do. Sean, you said it best, bro. You said it best. I mean, they won tonight's game against the Portland Trail Blazers, about 28 points. Yeah. They played, A to Z, phenomenal basketball. Without DeRozan. You got, Caruso finally came back to play basketball. That's another problem I have with the Bulls is that, like, they just be resting players. And I'm not understanding the logic behind that because it's also why we in this position, right? Caruso is one of our better defenders on our team. And this man literally cannot play 3 games straight. And it pisses me off because I'm like, dude, like, I'm not understanding how you can't play 3 games straight. Like, I understand you go hard and all this other shit.
You can't be getting hurt all the time.
Exactly. And your body is your money. Like, your responsibility is to take your body in shape. And nobody's questioning that. But it's like, you will play 1 game and then he's off the next 2 games. Like, dude, this is, like, what kind of shit is this? Like, all hands on deck for the Chicago Bulls right now. Everybody needs to play basketball right now. You understand? Everybody needs to play. Your days of just not being able to play because I'm listed as day to day, but you're not really fully hurt.
Unacceptable.
That's unacceptable. We got 9 games left in the regular season. Caruso, you should have never been out. You want to take time off, you got the whole off season. We could miss the playoffs and have 4 months off. And you could just take that whole off season off and go do whatever you want to do with your family. But that was some bullshit. I never liked that. I feel like you should be playing every single game. If you can't handle it, get out the league. How about that?
You know what's crazy?
Get out the league, bro.
You know what's crazy? It would be so many players out the league if that was the case. Because these players today,
so soft.
They're so pampered.
Damn.
That the NBA is allowing them not to play games.
Yeah.
It's allowing them to not play.
Just not play. You're not even no torn ligaments, nothing of ailing issue. You might have some aches or whatever because obviously you playing some minutes or whatever. But that's what you sign up for. And this late in the season, you clearly are an integral part of the Chicago Bulls, right? And we understand what management say, but you still succumb to it. And it's like, okay, I play, you play, then the next 2 games you off. We don't have that kind of time to waste here.
No.
We literally, they acting like we a third seed locked in for the playoffs. And we're not.
And not just because we don't have enough wins, but we also don't have that chemistry. So we need every guy to play so we can build that
chemistry. And they keep taking it away because they want to sit out.
Yeah.
Javonte Green just finally came back. I'm happy you back, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like then he back and Caruso gone. And it's like,
we can never have everybody.
Y'all are killing me, bro. Get on the court. Because if your pay got docked, you be on the court.
And that's why I feel like the NBA should be like the NFL. If you don't play, you don't get paid.
Exactly.
We will see so many less injuries, quote unquote injuries, if that was the case.
Exactly.
Everybody be playing.
Exactly. They that's ironic we bring this up, but they just said Ben Simmons is like he ruled out now because of I don't know, something about his nerve, but he got the nerve. Just put it that way. He got the
nerve to say nerve.
He got the nerve. He got a nerve damage or whatever, right? But that's the problem, right? Like Caruso, we know you go hard. You ain't the first person to go hard for the Chicago Bulls in the perimeter position, right? We've had a plethora of them in the last 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Like, just, We appreciate you, but stop being unavailable, bro.
Yeah.
Stop doing this. I played 1 to 2 games. I'm off the next 3 games.
Unacceptable.
Dude, this is like, what the hell is that shit about? Get on the court and play. And anything less than that is unacceptable. We are 9 games away from the playoffs being over. I mean, the regular season being over. And you need to play. And so I'm glad he played against Portland, right? But, you know, we didn't really need him for Portland, but I'm glad you played. We needed you against Philly, and you weren't available for neither one of those games. For what? Rest? I mean, come on. But you know, Vooch put up 23 and 15. Zach LaVine put up 33 and 8. And then we got a good surprising, I shouldn't say surprise because he's done it this season, but not on a consistent basis. Kobe White put up 19 and 9 assists. He's been handling the basketball better too. He's got good ball handling this season. He worked on it all off season. But Patrick Williams put up, you know, good numbers too. And this is one of the rare games where we had more turnovers and still won the game. You know, typically for the Chicago Bulls, we have to lower the turnover situation in order for us to win. And it's typically for all basketball teams, but this is one of those rare teams where rare wins we won with having more turnovers. So, but overall, all hands on deck, man, you know, and we got to take it from there, man.
So the next game's coming up. Who do we have for in the next few days?
So we play the Los Angeles Lakers, who's also trying to fight for a playoff seed.
Tomorrow. Oh, man, that's going to be a tough game. So the Bulls better be ready to play.
Yeah.
Better be ready to play. We got the Lakers. We have the Clippers. We have the Lakers again.
Yep.
We have the Hornets. We have the Grizzlies. We have the Hawks. We have the Bucks. We have the Mavericks. And then the last game, we have the Pistons.
Yep.
So this is not going to be easy.
No, it's not. It's not. But I will say this, though. From a metric standpoint, the Chicago Bulls have, I think, the second or third best, they have the second or third best competitor, schedule, I should say that. Best schedule that they have, in the league right now, or at least in their conference. I got to look back at that. But overall, they have the ability to counter the hole they're in because of their, the schedule that they got. Yeah. They're dealing with teams that they just take care of business that they should be able to beat. Yeah. But that's the thing with the Bulls. Beating teams you should be able to beat. That's been their issue the whole season. The whole season. That's been their issue.
I mean, you literally said earlier that they probably dropped the ball 17 times.
Yeah.
Just imagine if they would have won those 17 games. We would be just coasting right now.
Or at least go 13-4.
Coasting.
13-4. I understand a couple games you just kind of like piss them away. Yeah. But not that many. Like, say you win another 13. Yeah. Look at the record then. Yeah. The record is a completely different situation. You up there in the 4th seed. Like I said, they literally talent-wise should be in the 4th seed. They should be battling Philly for a 4th seed, 3rd or 4th seed. Yeah. We already know we're not better than Milwaukee. We already know we're not better than Boston. We can hang with Boston.
Right. We can't hang with Boston.
But on a season series, in a series, they're going to beat us.
Yep.
Right? We expect that.
Yep. We expect.
But anybody below them, we should be literally like right there.
Even the Cavaliers, like we should be eye to eye with them.
Exactly.
Talent-wise.
They're a newly assembled team. Newly assembled Donovan Mitchell, right?
I wish
their chemistry should not be on our level.
That speaks volumes to Donovan Mitchell, though, and how good he is as an NBA player. I wish we had him instead of DeMar DeRozan.
I guess you have.
I know for a fact we would be a much better team. You know why? Because he has that dog in him. He's a dog.
Yeah.
Not just offensively. He's going to do the intangibles. He's going to do everything it takes to win the game because he wants to win.
Yeah.
Talk about that Mamba mentality. He has it.
Yeah.
All around.
Yep.
So if we had him, we
would.
That'd be nice.
We would. You make a valid point, man.
Only in the perfect.
I got no argument with that one.
Yep. But again, NSA Bulls podcast. It's been a great episode talking about the Chicago Bulls. Hopefully we can make that playoff push. Get ready for this play-in if we are in that situation. So Nick, we're gonna be sit back and watching. So hopefully it's something good to watch.
Yeah, hopefully it is, man. Like, share, and subscribe. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook is not really that great, but overall, like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate all the support, and we will see y'all next episode. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls. See you next time. Peace.